We dry things out heading into our Saturday, but the wind actually will pick up in the overnight hours. Could be gusting around 30 to 35 miles per hour. That'll continue into the day on Saturday, but the sunshine is back with highs in the upper 40s. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Folks, you know Randy Marion sells vehicles the King of Price way, but did you know our service department? We service vehicles the King of Price way. We sell tires, we sell brakes, we sell batteries, we sell the maintenance. We help you keep your vehicle on the road safe, ready to drive, whatever the season is. Randy Marion service departments have you covered. Come see us today because, folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
It is NFL Playoff Eve, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned into the Scoreboard. It is a beautiful Friday. Watch our video. You can see our video live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com, which is our website. Soon we'll be on an app. You can get us worldwide. We're everywhere. And I know you love hearing the beautiful voices all around the radio station here at WSIC. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you absolutely can. I take any calls, all calls, fun calls, mad calls, sad calls, whatever you want to talk about. We're here for you on the Scoreboard. A lot of good sports news and updates for you today. We have a new head coach at Alabama already. We have some NASCAR news, which I feel like we haven't had in a while, but there's actually something that happened earlier in the week we could talk about. I kind of saved it for a little bit later, but now what I think is an even bigger breaking story out of NASCAR. We're going to have that for you today also, as well as our NFL playoff preview, because tomorrow, yes, I know, it feels like the season just started, but tomorrow at 4:30, we have NFL playoffs. Yes, we do. Super wild card weekend, as it's been dubbed. Don't know why it's been dubbed that, but it's Super Wild Card Weekend. Total of 7 games taking place over Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We're going to start the preview here shortly, but as we always do to start our show, we're going to talk about local high school sports. We're going into the basketball world today, as we've been doing over the past month or so, talking about the local schools, mostly the Iredell Statesville schools is who we've been highlighting as we move through these seasons. And we, just for fun, throw Mooresville High School in there because, like, they're right there and they got a nice rivalry with Lake Norman. So we definitely want to make sure we shout out a lot of these schools. So without waiting much longer, let's get right into it. Starting as we always do down by Lake Norman, Mooresville High School. They've had a decent start to their year. They won their most recent game 62-60. That game was on Wednesday. It was a conference game against Cox Mills High School. And Mooresville improved their record to 9-5 on the year. And in the conference, they jumped to 1-1. A lot of schools have games today. Mooresville, not one of them. Their next game is actually going to be on the 16th against the West Cabarrus Wolverines. That is a home game for Mooresville before they go on a small road stand. And now we'll talk about the other school by the lake, that being Lake Norman High School. Very good start to their year. Best in the area. 12-1 to start their year. Their last game was on the 5th, and they had to wait quite a bit of time before they have their next game. They don't play today. They play on the 16th against Cox Mill High School. That's a home game. Lake Norman starting their year 1-0. They're on a 2-game winning streak right now after they lost to Weddington by just 1 point in order, and that actually knocked them out of the tournament. We talked about the tournaments that were going on during the holiday break. They were in the Phenom Holiday Classic presented by Sport Mode 1, and Lake Norman got all the way to the semifinals before they lost. Ended up winning the third place game after that against Wilkes Central, but losing by 1. That's their only blemish on their record so far this year. Lake Norman looking to continue their great season a little bit later. Anyway, moving right on to Statesville High School, and I've been highlighting them. Yes, I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing me say, keep an eye on Statesville High School, because I don't think that their record was indicative of how good the team is. And now that they've had some games under their belt, they're not playing one game every 3 weeks. They've put together a little bit of a run. 4-game winning streak, and all 4 of those got them back to 500. Statesville sits 6-6 on the season, 2-1 in conference, and that is very important. They're one of the schools that has a game tonight. They'll be at home taking on an Iredell-Statesville school rival, West Iredell High School. Game time for that one, 7:30. And as we talk about West Iredell, let's talk about the season that they've had and what they can expect coming forward. Tough start to their year. Now, this one isn't like Statesville, where I was saying keep an eye on them. Tough start to their year. They were playing games at the beginning of the year, and they were still losing, unfortunately. Their only wins on the year coming against Elkin and Langtree Charter. But West Iredell setting 2-9 on the year, and 0-2 in the conference. So they really need to turn it around quick, and maybe they can do that here as we move through the rest of the regular season. And their next game, as we talk about them, is actually going to be on the 16th against Hickory High School. So I got my information a little bit crossed here. Not really sure where that other game went, but next game for Statesville is actually on the road at North Iredell on the 16th. Don't know where I was getting that from, but that is where they stand right now. West Iredell against Hickory on the 16th. And Hickory, they've had a really good start to their year. They've had a good sports year in general. We talked about them a little bit during the football season, being the 3A state champions that they were. Now their basketball team is starting the year 11-0, not looking like they're going to slow down anytime soon. They've had a couple of close ones. They beat Newton Conover by 2, and they had other games like North Lincoln they beat by 6, but they are just rolling through their season. And moving along to North Iredell, this is one of the schools that's closer to 500, doing a little more decent on the year. They also had a tough start, lost a lot of games early in the season, started 1-4. Now they sit at 6-7, 2-1 in conference, which is pretty good. And North Iredell on Wednesday lost to North Lincoln. Their next game is going to be on the 16th, that being next week, against Statesville High School. And South Iredell, one of the last teams that we're going to talk about here before we move into our first break. They've had a rough start to their year, 2-12 on the season, 0-2 in conference. Their most recent game against Hickory Ridge on Wednesday, lost that one 91-54. Tough game for South Iredell and a tough season for South Iredell to start their year. We got a lot more good stuff for you here as we move through the scoreboard, so don't go anywhere. You're listening to the scoreboard right here on WSIC, and if you want to be a part of the show, you can. Phone number 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, rain on the way for our Friday evening, so you might want to carry along the umbrella and the rain gear for your Friday evening plans. Winds will pick up a bit too, gusting around 20 to 30 miles per hour maybe at times. Rain will shut off though as we head into midnight, as we dry things out heading into our Saturday, but the wind actually will pick up in the overnight hours, could be gusting around 30 to 35 miles per hour. That'll continue into the day on Saturday, but the sunshine is back with highs in the upper 40s. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Rocky Lynn is playing at Kane Center for the Arts Saturday, January 20th. Having performed all over the world, written hit songs, and mentored artists, Rocky Lynn is making another stop here at home. Rocky Lynn, Saturday, January 20th, kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Quilters and Knitters Unite! The Quilting and Needle Art Extravaganza is happening this month at the Statesville Civic Center, Friday, January 26th and 27th. Admission is $5. Come explore the many beautiful fabrics, styles, and maybe even buy a new sewing machine. The Quilting and Needle Art Extravaganza at Statesville Civic Center on January 26th and 27th. Birkdale on Ice is still going on through January 28th. Time to lace up your skates and hit the ice. To make sure you can skate when you want, we recommend you making a reservation. For skate session info, including times and pricing, visit birkdalevillage.com. Mooresville Parks and Recreation presents The Hitmen of Country, playing at the Charles Mack Citizen Center Friday, January 19th. Love country music? The Hitmen of Country have toured and recorded with some of the country's greatest artists, like Keith Urban, Trace Adkins, Travis Tritt, and Jason Aldean. For more information, go to visitmooresville.com. That's visitmooresville.com. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Little Shavers Wood Shop and Building Supply is your one-stop source for winter electric and torpedo heaters, heat lamps, pine and cedar shavings, ice melt, and snow sleds. Plus year-round items including PPG paints and stains, tools for plumbing and heating, and automotive supplies. Over 55,000 warehouse products available. You'll find Little Shavers on Facebook and online at littleshavers.com. That's LILshavers.com.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back. It is segment number 2 here on the Scoreboard. You can call me up at 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. If you have something you'd like to talk about, question, comment, concern, anything at all, we'll go ahead and take them right here. And if you've been listening to WSIC and listening to all the shows, you know that we've been giving away tickets to the Charlotte Home and Landscape Show in January, as well as the Home and Remodeling Show in February. And right here in front of my eyes, I see 2 tickets for each. So what I'm going to do later in the show, during the final segment after 6:45, I'm going to give you guys a trivia question. Yeah, I know yesterday it was a word of the day. Today it's a trivia question, okay? I'm feeling like I need to do trivia again because it worked last time. So Hope last night, yesterday, called in, took the tickets, and said, give them to someone. So I did just that, just for you, Hope. So those tickets were given away. They are in safe hands. Somebody's going to be enjoying the Charlotte Home and Landscape Show, as well as the Home and Remodeling Show. But if you want to go to that, I have tickets right here, and I'm waving them in front of your face in case you are are watching on the video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, if you want to call it that. I still hate that. What else? WSICnews.com. We're everywhere. We're worldwide. And I just noticed this, but there's a featured guest on the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show. If anybody watches Bravo, this is definitely not my demographic. I'm just letting you know right now. I don't know how many people watching sports on Friday nights are also watching Bravo and the hit series Southern Charm. But Craig Conover, who is part of Southern Charm, is going to be one of the featured guests during the home remodeling show. That one's at the Park Expo and Conference Center. And the home and landscape show is in the Cabarrus Arena in Concord. So stay tuned. We're going to be giving away these tickets a little later today. But we have sports news and information to go over in the meantime, starting with college football, because earlier this week, we got the bombshell of news that Nick Saban is retiring as head coach of Alabama Crimson Tide football team. And already we know who the next head coach is going to be. Crazy, right? I don't get it. I don't know how college football can work so much faster than the NFL. I know in the NFL we have like a process, all that stuff, the Rooney Rule, things like that. But this is only a couple of days after Saban stepped down. Washington's Kalen DeBoer, who guided the Huskies to a Pac-12 championship and a spot in college football's national championship game this past season, has agreed to become the next head coach at Alabama. DeBoer informed his Washington players and staff on Friday he's leaving for Alabama, and a deal is expected to be made later on today. We still don't have news on whether or not the deal is officially completed, but this is it. Washington's DeBoer is going over to Alabama, and in replacing Saban, he's got big shoes to fill. This is not somewhere where I personally would want to go to follow someone, kind of like what's going on with the Patriots right now. And spoiler, we already have a new Patriots head coach. Don't know how, don't know why, but it had to do with a stipulation in contracts that the Patriots informed the NFL. We'll get to it. But we're going to stick with college football right now. There's already fallout from this. Alabama wide receiver Isaiah Bond is the first player since Nick Saban retirement to enter his name into the transfer portal. He took advantage of a rule that states that players have a 30-day window to enter their name into the transfer portal without penalty if that team loses its head coach at the end of the season. So he had 30 days to make the decision. 2 days later, he says, I'm in the portal. And he's not going to lose eligibility. The only problem is that for schooling, spring semester has already started in college. And somehow Bond would have to go through the admission process and get enrolled in time if he wants to be eligible for the spring. So he can't drag his feet on this. This is something that has to be done now. Like, get it done quick and you'll be able to play next year. But I feel like there's going to be more. I can't tell you that I know that for a fact because I don't, but just something inside of me, some feeling I have tells me that there's going to be more players for Alabama entering into the transfer portal. And also, you got to think, new coach means new system. How many of those players for Alabama are just not going to fit the system? How many years is it going to take for Alabama to build in a way that highlights Coach DeBoer and his system? We'll have to see because, man, Washington was throwing the ball all over the place. I can't tell you the same thing about Alabama. They weren't really throwing it all over the place. They have in the past. This year was not one of those years. So we have a new head football coach at Alabama. And like I mentioned, we also have a new head football coach in New England. Yeah, that was quick. So the Patriots hire Gerard Mayo to replace Bill Belichick as the head coach. Mayo is a former player for the Patriots, and he has been on the coaching staff since 2019. The Patriots put a stipulation in the contract that the long-term situation. So here's the report. In the contract for Gerard Mayo, they put that when Belichick retires, he will be the next head coach. They cleared this with the NFL. This was in the contract. They clear it with the NFL, and now they agree with Mayo on a head coaching spot. And they don't have to go through any interviews. They don't have to go through the Rooney Rule. They can just hire it. It's the first time that I can remember seeing something like this happen, and it's not something that I think is going to happen often because there's not a lot of times where you have a head football coach who's going to be there for that long. I can see Pittsburgh making that a stipulation in a contract for when they lose their head coach, Mike Tomlin, maybe the Rams if Sean McVay decides to leave, the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan. There's very few places, the Chiefs with Andy Reid, obviously. There's very few places where I feel like the head coach is solid. He is in there. He's not going anywhere. So how many teams can really put a stipulation like that in a contract? Well, the Patriots are one of those teams, as Bill Belichick has stepped aside. Now, the only thing that was questioning this, or that people had questioned, is that former Titans head coach, Mike Vrabel, became available, and there was some rumor that he could be in line for that job, but Kraft did not want to deal with that. He went through the succession plan that he already had. So we'll see what happens. And Gerard Mayo, former linebacker, is the head coach. This is such a weird time in the NFL right now, in college football. Like, everything that you've known for the past 20 years is gone. Do you have a reason to hate the Patriots still? I know for like 15 years it was fun. Everybody hated the Patriots. Nobody wanted to admit that they were fun to watch. But now that it's over and the evil empire is gone, I look back and say, man, we might not see something like that for a long, long time. Even Patrick Mahomes isn't doing this. Now, he might get there eventually, but it's going to be a while before we see something like this again. So with Belichick retiring, Gerard Mayo is the new head football coach. We're going to stick with the NFL talk because we do have a little bit of news that I want to get to before our commercial, and then we are going to go into the playoffs. We do have the all-pro teams for the AFC, NFC, all-pro 1, 2, 3, special teams, all that stuff. But within that, we have 3 players who were unanimously voted first team all-pro. Christian McCaffrey, running back for the 49ers, Fred Warner, linebacker for the 49ers, and Tyreek Hill, wide receiver for the Dolphins, unanimously voted first team all-pro. Boy, oh boy, how are we doing, Panthers fans? How are we feeling about that? Christian McCaffrey, first team all-pro, traded him away because he was super injury prone when he was here in Carolina. What is it? Is it time to get new trainers here in Carolina? Because has he been injured as a 49er? I know he got injured a little bit at the end of the year, but it was, one game he missed? And now he's first team all-pro. And Panthers didn't get much for him. A lot of bad decisions over a short period of time, and people wonder why are the Panthers 2-15 or 2-16, whatever we ended up this year. Well, reasons like this are why. We're halfway through the show here today. Thanks for tuning in with me here on the Scoreboard WSIC. We are back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Can't wait to talk to you.
knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, rain on the way for our Friday evening, so you might want to carry along the umbrella and the rain gear for your Friday evening plans. Winds will pick up a bit too, gusting around 20 to 30 miles per hour maybe at times. Rain will shut off though as we head into midnight, as we dry things out heading into our Saturday, but the wind actually will pick up in the overnight hours, could be gusting around 30 to 35 miles per hour. That'll continue into the day on Saturday, but the sunshine is back with highs in the upper 40s. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Rev up your dreams with a bike from Tilly Harley-Davidson. Whether you're new to Harley or a seasoned pro, Tilly has the bike for you. Come experience the freedom of the ride. Feel the thrill of the road and the thunder that only a Harley can provide. Stop by Tilly Harley-Davidson of Statesville or go to tillyhd.com.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-556-2974. 800-556-2974.
This is a true, sad story for ADT, the leader in home security systems. My favorite dog, Oliver, was stolen from our garage recently. If I had a camera system installed in my home from ADT, I would have known exactly what car possibly pulled up in my driveway and stole my little friend. If I had a security system from ADT, my dog would still be here. I called ADT this weekend, and they're coming out in a few days to install a camera and a new security system. Unfortunately, it's a little too late for me. Listen, protect everyone you love in your family. Call ADT now. Have them come out and give you a quote to install a full security system in your home. Don't let it be too late for you. Call right now.
Paid for by the Home Security Hotline. 800-561-6198. 800-561-6198. 800-561.
Plenty of changes on the way for the Panthers following one of the worst seasons in franchise history, and the work has already begun to make 2024 an improvement. I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
Great play. Let's roll back the replay. Panthers mascot Sir Purr is on the Bank of America app.
He can't keep his paws off that phone.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Carolina Panthers fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can'tstopbanking.
You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
There is no shortage of things the Panthers will be changing as they look to repair the franchise after a disastrous 2-15 season. They've already begun the process of lining up candidates for both general manager and head coach, and they'll have some major roster decisions to make as well, including what to do with two-time Pro Bowl linebacker Brian Burns, who heads into an off-season of uncertainty.
Focusing on myself. The best thing I can do is be ready. So if it do turn out that they do want to keep me here and I stay, I'm ready. And if it turns out I have to go somewhere else, I'm definitely ready for that too. So as long as I'm ready in any angle, I'm fine with that.
Of course, one of the bigger building blocks is quarterback Bryce Young, who just completed a rocky first season along with the rest of the Panthers offense. Tight end Hayden Hurst on what might have been some of the issues in that department.
Yeah, I think there's just too many opinions. We're kind of looking for the right answer from everybody. Too much input. He kind of had a lot of people in his ear telling him one thing. He was just looking for, because when you come from a place like Alabama, right, like Saban's king, and whatever he says goes. When you're a 21-year-old kid, you think that is going to be consistent in the NFL. And unfortunately for him, I think maybe he was listening to too many people.
Young finished the season with just 11 touchdown passes to go along with 10 interceptions, 11 fumbles, and was sacked 62 times. I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network, presented by Morris Jenkins.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Hey, we are back! Segment number 3 here on the Scoreboard, WSIC, 105.9, 100.7 FM. You can call me up, 844 Studio 4, that's 844 788 3464. Oh, what a day. What a day. It's a beautiful one out there. I love the rain. I know. You hear people say it's a beautiful day and you expect sunny skies. Nope. This is a beautiful day to me. Nice and gloomy. Rainy. I have a college basketball story update here. I don't know how many people remember this story from a few months ago. Memphis basketball player Mikey Williams was going through trial, and he was on trial for an incident at his home where shots were allegedly fired at a car full of people after they had left his residence. He faced 9 felony counts in the case, but pleaded guilty in November to a lesser felony charge of making criminal threats. The plea that he took meant that Williams could get the charge reduced to a misdemeanor if he satisfied the number of requirements before his scheduled sentencing this coming August. And with that news, we have a little bit of a change for where he's going to be playing. Mikey Williams was committed to Memphis. He is a rookie or freshman, whatever you want to put it. I'm going to start calling them rookies because now they're professional athletes. They get paid. Williams never played a game for Memphis, though. He was away from the team while the legal process played out. And the update that we have is that after he has departed from Memphis, the former 5-star recruit Mikey Williams announces Friday that he has committed to UCF, University Central Florida. So he commented on this on his Instagram saying, all I needed was a chance, and he's apparently going to be getting that chance with UCF to show what he can do. So a little bit of an update to a story that we talked about a few months ago with those criminal charges. Plea deals being taken and no time served, it looks like. So Mikey Williams, we might be seeing him in the near future. We never know. He is a 6'2" guard, and he's already got $3.6 million Instagram followers, which is just absolutely insane to me. Moving right along, I want to talk a little bit about this NASCAR news. NASCAR announced on their website earlier today, a couple of days ago actually, that there is a NASCAR Netflix docuseries that is going to be releasing later on this month. The show is set to premiere January 30th. It's going to follow the 16 playoff drivers from last season as they all fight for the Cup Series championship, both on and off the track. The show will be comprised of 5 45-minute episodes featuring exclusive access to the drivers and teams. Some of the drivers headlined in the docuseries include Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Ross Chastain, and Tyler Reddick. I have been preaching for like 2 years now, maybe not on this show specifically, maybe just out into the void. I was yelling into nothing. But here, at least I can yell into this shiny, I guess it's not so shiny anymore, microphone that's been here for, it looks like, 75 years, as WSIC has. I've been yelling about this, that NASCAR needed to do something like this. They needed to put something on Netflix because I've been using the comparison to Formula One. Formula One, a European sport They've come to the United States a couple of times. They started in Austin, Texas. Then Netflix partnered with Formula One to release Drive to Survive. And if anybody knows what that is, it's a docuseries where they follow the Formula One drivers throughout the entire season. And it was massive. The United States ate it up to the point where a few years ago, Formula One added a track around Hard Rock Stadium in Miami for the drivers to go to. And then last year, we had the first ever Formula One race on the Strip of Las Vegas. So now 3 tracks for Formula One in the United States. The U.S. has the most Formula One tracks on the schedule. I don't know what that really means, but they come to the U.S. 3 times. They don't even do that in Great Britain or England or France or wherever you want to call it. Side note, I still don't really know the difference between like Great Britain and France. Or not France, England, Great Britain, England. It's like the same thing to me, all right? Let's figure this out together. France, I know, they're completely different. They're bonjour, baguette. We're getting off track. It's a Friday here. We're having fun. Anyway, NASCAR has announced that. And the biggest thing about this is that one of the executive producers is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Massive. What Earnhardt has been able to do with Dirty Mo Media and his podcast and other podcasts. Denny Hamlin has a podcast on Dirty Mo Media. It's great. It is not saving NASCAR, but it's allowing NASCAR to hang on right now and try to generate new fans. The podcast that Junior has is great. The fact that he was one of the leading voices in bringing back North Wilkesboro Speedway, massive. And now he's got Netflix doing a docuseries on NASCAR. He's trying. And I applaud, he should be in charge. I, in the past, have not been the biggest Dale Jr. fan. I thought he was an overrated driver. I thought that he only was where he was because of his name. And, people can debate that all they want. But what you absolutely cannot debate right now is that his media company and what Dale Jr. is doing for NASCAR is important. And it might save NASCAR from falling to the wayside. It might take years for that to happen, for NASCAR to fall away. But he's trying to get it back to the mid-2000s. I watch videos of highlights from the mid-2000s. People were in the stands losing their minds during qualifying. Nobody goes to qualifying anymore. You have like 100 people in the stands going to qualifying. The stands would be packed for truck races, for ARCA. Nobody goes to those anymore. So I got to applaud Junior and Dirty Mo Media and Netflix and NASCAR for doing something. Because obviously they're not going to get rid of the playoffs, which is honestly a shame because it's terrible. I know so many people don't like it. I know so many people who stopped watching NASCAR because of the playoffs. And I get it. You want to avoid something that happened like when Matt Kenseth won the championship, where he dominated the season and a week before it ended, a week before the season finale, Kenseth was mathematically crowned the champion. And to that I say, look at Formula One. Max Verstappen won like 99% of the races last year. He won the championship and there were still like 8 races to go. And people still tuned in, and it's still growing. So maybe you go back to the cumulative points over a season. Or if you want to meet halfway, meet in the middle, because I get it, you want to have end of season craziness. Go back to the chase. Go back to the 10-race chase format, because honestly, it was good. It wasn't bad. Do we remember the year where Tony Stewart won 5 of 10 to come back and win that championship? I do. It was a great time. We got one more segment on this Friday. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Scoreboard here on WSIC. We are back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, rain on the way for our Friday evening, so you might want to carry along the umbrella and the rain gear for your Friday evening plans. Winds will pick up a bit too, gusting around 20 to 30 miles per hour maybe at times. Rain will shut off though as we head into midnight, as we dry things out heading into our Saturday, but the wind actually will pick up in the overnight hours. Could be gusting around 30 to 35 miles per hour. That'll continue into the day on Saturday, but the sunshine is back with highs in the upper 40s. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Rocky Lynn is playing at Kane Center for the Arts Saturday, January 20th. Having performed all over the world, written hit songs, and mentored artists, Rocky Lynn is making another stop here at home. Rocky Lynn, Saturday, January 20th, kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Quilters and Knitters Unite! The Quilting and Needle Art Extravaganza is happening this month at the Statesville Civic Center, Friday, January 26th and 27th. Admission is $5. Come explore the many beautiful fabrics, styles, and maybe even buy a new sewing machine. The Quilting and Needle Art Extravaganza at Statesville Civic Center on January 26th and 27th. Birkdale on Ice is still going on through January 28th. Time to lace up your skates and hit the ice. To make sure you can skate when you want, we recommend you making a reservation. For skate session info, including times and pricing, visit birkdalevillage.com. Mooresville Parks and Recreation presents the Hitmen of Country, playing at the Charles Mack Citizen Center Friday, January 19th. Love country music? The Hitmen of Country have toured and recorded with some of the country's greatest artists, like Keith Urban, Trace Adkins, Travis Tritt, and Jason Aldean. For more information, go to visitmooresville.com. That's visitmooresville.com. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Get into Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville.
Happy New Year. Yes, 2024 is here. We are celebrating Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville. The deals could not be hotter, can't be better in the new year. Come see us today, Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville. Check out the Silverado, the Colorado. How about a new Traverse? That's the new body style. Come see us. It is going to be a great year. Happy 2024 from Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more segment here on this beautiful Friday. 6:48 p.m. That means we have just about 11 minutes before we have to say goodbye to you today. But before I do that, I want to give away these tickets. I told you I'd have a trivia question for you. It's a very easy one. You could probably go on Google and find this one out because it's that easy. We're going to ask you this question. Who is the head coach of Charlotte FC? That's very simple. And if you can call me up at 844-STUDIO-4 and tell me who the head coach of Charlotte FC is, you will win these tickets. And we can go into the weekend happy. I won't be happy if we don't give away these tickets. Now, I got to say, it's going to be hard. I don't know if there's the want. I don't know if there's the will for these tickets. You got to want it. Call me up. 844-STUDIO-4. I will be watching and monitoring that phone line. It's right there next to me. If I see it light up, you better have the answer. Because the head football coach of Charlotte FC is You thought I was going to tell you, didn't you? No, I'm not giving away any hints today. No. This is an easy one. You could literally use Google. Just don't tell me that you used Google. 704-844-Studio-4. That's the number. 844-Studio-4. That's 844-788-3464. I've neglected the NFL playoffs. We had other things to get to, and I neglected the NFL playoffs. I did. There's a few big things that are going on in the playoffs. There's some big news stories right now. Let's go to Kansas City. Let's hop on a plane and go there, and we're just going to put a thermometer in the ground, and we're going to see what the temperature is in Kansas City right now, because honestly, it's not good. 18 degrees as of right now in Kansas City. Now, the Chiefs play the Dolphins at home. It's in Kansas City. And that is a 8 o'clock game on Saturday. That 18 degrees is the highest temperature it's going to be in the next 24 hours. 48 hours, if that. Because tomorrow, at 8 a.m., it's going to be 6 degrees in Kansas City. At kickoff, 1 degree Fahrenheit with a small, not a big, a small chance for snow. That's a cold game. And the wind chill, we're talking 15 mile per hour winds with below freezing conditions. It's going to be a tough game. This is one where it doesn't matter if you're used to the cold weather. It's going to be cold, okay? Growing up here in this area and playing football in high school, I never had to deal with a 0-degree football game, but we got close one year. It was my senior year. It was like 15 degrees with wind, and I was like, it'll be fine, once we start playing and moving around, warm up. No, it was cold. Once it gets that cold with wind, it's just cold, and there's not much you can do about it. This is going to be a very interesting one, and it has a chance to break a record for the coldest playoff game in NFL history. There's been a few. If you remember a few years ago, we had the Seahawks and the Vikings, back when the Vikings were not in their home stadium because the roof collapsed, and they were actually playing outdoors, one of the coldest games ever, and Blair Walsh missed a 27-yard field goal or whatever it was, and that was that. It's tough to be a Vikings fan, all right? If you're a Vikings fan, I don't feel for you because personally, I grew up a Giants fan and I got to watch 2 Super Bowls. But if you're a Vikings fan, I feel for you. And if you're a Panthers fan, I also feel for you too, because I'm upset about the Panthers also. Anyway, it is Friday. I don't know if anybody can tell, but it is definitely Friday. The way we've gone through information today, the way this show has gone, it just has the feel of a Friday, the chaotic energy of a Friday, if you would. And I'm still waiting to give away these tickets. 844-Studio-4. Call in to the studio. And if you don't want the tickets and you just have a sports question, you can do that too. 844-Studio-4. The other game that we have our eye on right now is the game in Buffalo because, oh my goodness, it's going to be just as cold. Well, maybe not just as cold, but we're looking at the Buffalo weather right now, and it is 40 degrees, which is, that's not bad. 40 degrees in Buffalo. Now, the Bills play on Sunday, and they're a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. They're the first game on Sunday. Precipitation chances at 1 o'clock drop to 30%, but before that, there's only snow in the forecast. Ton of snow in the forecast. The temperature is going to be below 30 degrees, and there will be higher winds in Buffalo than in Kansas City. I'm talking about 25-mile-an-hour winds in Buffalo. So much for the kicking game, am I right? You might see a lot of 2-point conversions. This could be, if the snow gets pushed back, this could be one of those games that NFL Films does a documentary about, and they're like, the snow in Buffalo was coming down so hard you could not see the wide receiver lined up. Something like that. You could see this on like 20, 30 years from now on a documentary. Like, hey, remember that game in Buffalo against the Steelers in the playoffs where it was just a whiteout? 25 miles an hour of wind. Holy moly. How are you going to deal with that? How do you throw the ball in that? There's other games going on too, but the storylines aren't as good. The Texans playing the Browns, I guess that's a good storyline. The big, there's two that you can look at, the smaller one and the big one. The smaller storyline is Deshaun Watson going back to Texas, even though he's not playing, he's hurt. The bigger one, which I think is the bigger story, is that the Browns are favored in a playoff game for the first time since the 90s. What? Yeah, you heard that right. Same with the Lions. They are at home for the first. They won the NFC North for the first time ever. Last time they won a division, it was called the NFC Central. I wasn't even around to know that there was an NFC Central. And then you have the Cowboys and the Packers, and we all know the history of that one. Man, there have been some good Cowboy-Packers playoff games. You have the Dez caught it. You have Rodgers throwing it 50 yards with 10 seconds left for a game-winning field goal at the end when we all thought it was going to overtime. And now you got Jordan Love. So a new era is about to be written. Jordan Love versus Dak Prescott. That's going to be a good one. And then the Monday night game. Why do the Buccaneers get to host a playoff game? Why? They were 9-8. The Eagles were 11-6. By record, it shows you, hey, that was obviously the better team, the Eagles. But be careful. The Eagles have lost 5 of 6. And they almost lost to the pathetic New York Giants at the end of the year, which would have made them lose 6 in a row. Still would be playing the same team, all that fun stuff. I like Baker Mayfield in this offense. I like Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. Just something inside of me is saying the Buccaneers are going to upset the Eagles. Kind of like the same way earlier in the week I told you that there's just some little itty-bitty part of me that's like whispering in my ear. It's right back there. I can see it if I turn, saying the Cowboys are going to go far. They might make it to the NFC Championship. That's what's being whispered into my ear right now. Kind of like how I whispered it into your ear. All right, let's get this whisperer out of here. Go away, guy. I don't know. It's going to be a wild playoffs. And you have my Super Bowl prediction, both getting buys. I'm not going to pat myself on the back just yet, but I am going to give myself a little attaboy. And speaking of the Ravens, tight end Mark Andrews to return from injured reserve. He's going to be back for the playoffs. I can't wait for a few years and from now when we're talking about the Panthers being in the playoffs, although it might be a little more than a few. It might be a bunch. Like 10, maybe. I don't know. Do we think Bryce Young is that guy? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say how I feel about it because, honestly, we talked about the Panthers all year, and now it's time to talk about playoffs. I want to say thank you to everyone as we come to the end of the show here today. We got through another Friday show, and we got playoff football this weekend. Who do you got? I guess nobody wanted these home and landscape show tickets or these home remodeling show. I guess nobody wanted to go meet Craig Conover, who's the guest that'll be appearing. Craig Conover, he's right there. He's on your ticket. We're going to try and give him away more next week because right now we have made it to the end of the show, the end of live programming at WSIC for the week, as today is Friday. We pick it back up Monday with Good Morning LKN, Justin Kazepis, Mimi, and Bill on the sticks, as they call him, then home ad. And then you'll see me a little later in the day, same time, 6 o'clock, the way I do it every single day. But we're out of here. Thanks for joining today. It is Friday. We're going to take it out the same way we always do on Fridays. I'm going to talk to you guys on Monday. Until then, be safe. Have a good weekend. Enjoy playoff football. And if you want these tickets, call me up on Monday. Have a good weekend, everyone. We will see you back here on Monday.
The new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC, Statesville, more